Hello, and welcome back to the Learning Guitar series. This is the 7th episode of it, and now it's time to discuss the shape of C. So we're looking at this particular shape. Again, let's imagine it like having a massive barré here on fret 0, and as we transposed, we get C sharp, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, and G, and of course, A flat, and so forth and so on. But I stopped at G for a second because since we are looking at very often things from a G point of view, for now, now you can see that suddenly we have three way of playing the G major, depending on where we are on the guitar. And that's kind of an important thing because we keep moving and covering more larger part of the neck. This time I will not go through, like moving the camera like I did in previous lesson, going through some sort of theory and then the PDF, for the simple reason that it's kind of the same theory that we discussed in week 1 and 4. The only thing that changes now is the shape, and we're going to look at the PDF in a second in practice. That's pretty much the only difference. What's important in this case is, again, our visual reference in terms of photographic memory and muscle memory, which means when you look at this shape, this is your root note. That's one of your visual references. This is your root note, this is your root note. So this is a D note, and that's a D major, okay? Looking like a C shape. So if this was your root note and you want to employ this particular shape, that's your reference. In this case, the scale is written in the key of D, so we're starting down here for the simple reason that we're going to go chromatically like we always do. This is the scale, that's your root note. Okay? And of course you're going to practice it chromatically. So that's D. Don't forget to tell yourself what you're doing, right? That's E flat. That's E. Have your visual on that root note. That's your F. F sharp. G. Since we're in G, going back in the shape of D. Shape of E. Now you can see all the connections. These are all G Ionian, okay? So we're leading towards this kind of approach. After that, you have the usual interval studies. So you have seconds, thirds, reverse thirds, alternated, alternated reversed. Now, like what I like to call alternating A, alternating B. Again, if you're familiar with these lessons, you've been through this before. Then we have the triads, like every other time. And again, practice the same exact way. So right, and reversed. Alternated. So as I said, like triads is the same, and then of course you have the extended triads, and that would be page 5, I think. Yeah, the end of the page 5. So concentration. Right, so backwards. After the extended triads, you have the groupings. Backwards. Reversed. Same problem with the little ballet here, right? Four notes. Backwards. Yeah. And of course, you also have an alternative version. Now, things. Let me stop the measurement for a second. Things becomes a little bit more interesting and maybe less routine-wise, if you want to put it that way, once we approach page 9. And what you got there is a kind of exercise I devised so that you can practice the transition across the shapes, a bit like we did in lesson 4. This time we are moving 3 scales at the same time. This will allow you also to kind of refresh what you did in lesson 1 and 4. I hope you have the PDFs in front of you, and if you don't, once you approach page 9, I actually wrote it there. And the progression goes F, so you have a shape D, going into E flat, so you have your shape of C, going into A flat, and now you have your shape of E, and it keeps kind of moving that way, almost chromatically, so that you're not only practicing always the 3 shapes in terms of scale this time. In the future we'll do it as chords, but you're also moving across the guitar. It's not static, so you're practicing everything that you learned so far, and you're also practicing across the board. So this kind of exercise kind of addresses one of the issues that we talked about maybe last lesson or maybe lesson 4, where you're moving on in terms of having to learn more stuff and you don't want to leave other stuff behind. So in terms of you practicing this exercise in the PDF, I wrote it in scales. So let's say I'm going F, Ionian, coming back, E flat, So that was shape of C for E flat. Then I have A flat, shape of E, F sharp, shape of D, then E in the shape of C, then A, and it keeps going. So basically you're practicing all the scales you learned so far. And you might want to apply this kind of progression exercise also to study of intervals. So say if you want to practice seconds, when you're doing shape of D, shape of C, shape of G, shape of E. It's starting to get confusing. F sharp, E, A, G, F, E flat. So now we are in page 11, and page 11 instead is dealing with you working across the various shape but staying in the same key. The exercises are written in the key of G. The concept is fairly simple. Instead of just moving vertically, you're trying to move horizontally, okay? Negotiating. And you might want to try and do this on every string, wherever it feels, somehow comfortable. I wrote a few examples, but of course you can devise many more. Another way of doing it is going down. That's actually example 1. Up in the other shape. Down. Right? And of course do this to a metronome. I'm just, trying to keep the video not too long. So this is what exercise 1, 2, and 3 deal with. And on page 12, again, you are trying and apply this using intervals. Same kind of concept where you're moving across the various shape, say like, intervals of seconds, same thing. Okay. So, and I gave you like an example of seconds and thirds you can practice. Of course, you can develop it even further, say if you wanted to do it in fourths. And so forth and so on. See how far you can go. You can, group of 4, it would be the same. And change. Maybe try sometimes not to do it necessarily just in the key of G. Maybe like try B flat, and now you have this. Okay, or C, and you have the same kind of. At the bottom of page 12, we go back to what we introduced in lesson 4, so the 3 notes per string approach. If you remember in lesson 4, once we connected the shape of G, so the shape of E with the shape of D, we also introduced to the idea of playing scales at 3 notes per string. So we had these 2 configurations. Now, because we added also this gauge, we have a further those of you into you know, metal or playing with a lot of distortion and stuff, that's kind of interesting to develop, especially because it lends itself to legato and there is consistency in the right hand. The only thing I suggest when you do this kind of exercises, especially if you do it in legato, make sure that you're well warmed up. But obviously, if you've been doing the other exercise first at the normal speed, say 80 BPM, 90 BPM, by the time you get to this, you'll be warmed up, okay? Without, you know, feeling too tired about it. I wrote a few exercises for you. You can write many more. And they kind of reflect what we did in the previous week. Let's say, for example, let me give you in page 13, exercise 4 is basically this. And you have the same kind of pattern then executed here. Right? So in terms of playing this stuff, in terms of practicing, of course you want to spend some time practicing just in one key, like we did before. So like in this case, literally you might want to use G, and just loop a G chord and just try and move across the neck. I'll show you what I mean, right? So that's the G chord, a little loop. And again, like we're just trying to move across. That's the shape of D, right? Now this is shape of C. That's our fourth intervals, right? Extended triads, just triads. You see how they become kind of a vehicle for you to create little phrases, right? If I did this, that's not a phrase. That's not a phrase, right? But if I do it kind of becomes one, right? Kind of boring, but it's one. Now we're moving, right? If you can, since you studied your pages in this shape and this shape, try and see if you can land on those notes, if you can target some of your page notes, okay? Because it's on I like the chord that you're actually playing. Page 7, right? That's your 5th. Now, the other exercises that you should do involves key changes. And what I thought would be a good progression without having to move too much would be, say, like F. Actually, even better, F, A, G. Okay, kind of simple, right? It's a bit like you playing in a circle. Of course, we're gonna. It would be a good idea to stay longer on each chord, so that gives you time to kind of also practice the shape a little bit. So maybe I'm gonna do, say, 4 bars for each. So that gives enough time on each of them before we change. So let's start from A, and we're gonna do A, F, G, okay? It's 1 bar, 2 bars, 3 bars, 4 bars, F, So we have enough time. So in A we're using shape of E. Then for F, shape of C. That's your G in the shape of D. That's A. F. G. F. Probably by now you can recognize triads. Sixth. There's a group of 6 and 7. This is F, shape C, back to G. Calculated, kind of. Notes A. Okay, it's been a pleasure, and until next time, stay safe. Okay.